The president speaks out after his impeachment acquittal. Good evening. This is CTV News for Thursday, February 6th. I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us. Well, a day after his impeachment acquittal, President Trump meets with a crowd of supporters at the White House. Reacting to the Senate vote, the president called his Democratic opponents vicious and mean. Speaking from the East Room, he described the impeachment proceedings as a disgrace and complained that it was very unfair.
Made up facts. A corrupt politician named Adam Schiff made up my statement to the Ukrainian president. He brought it out of thin air, just made it up. They say he's a screenwriter, a failed screenwriter. He tried to go into, unfortunately, he went into politics after that. Remember, he said the statement, which is a mob statement, "Don't call me, I'll call you." I didn't say that.
He's impeached forever, no matter what he says or whatever headlines he wants to carry around. You're impeached forever. You're never getting rid of that scar.
And during his remarks, Trump raised the possibility that he could be impeached again by Democrats and equated his conduct toward Ukraine to jaywalking. Meantime, in Annapolis, several lawmakers shared their thoughts on President Trump's acquittal.
Senator Romney said it best, that this was just totally unacceptable. And it's a shame that the rest of the senators did not feel the conviction to do the right thing.
I think it was fairly predictable. The Republicans didn't feel they had the political strength to be able to do what I think a lot of them thought was the right thing to do.
And 3 days after the Iowa caucuses, still no final results, but Democrats Pete Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders are nearly tied. The presidential contest has been marred by technical issues and reporting delays since Monday, drawing widespread criticism. The chairman of the National Democratic Party is now weighing in. Tom Perez is calling on Iowa Democrats to, quote, immediately begin a recanvass. Meantime, here in Maryland, a leading Republican says Iowa must revamp its caucus process. Michael Steele is the former chair of the Republican National Committee.
This idea that these 4 states in the beginning get to set how the rest of the nation responds to the candidates. There's good candidates who are gone before they even have a chance to come to Maryland, for example, because Iowa's decided they're not viable.
And Michael Steele is also a former Maryland lieutenant governor. Well, the fight against flavored tobacco comes to the state capitol. Delegates, students, and health officials gathered in Annapolis for a hearing on House Bill 3, which would end the sale of all flavored tobacco products in the state. This includes e-cigarettes, cigars, and smokeless tobacco. Many advocates say these products, especially menthol and gummy types, are aimed at kids and minorities.
We're here today to say we've had enough. Big tobacco has left a bad taste in our mouth. We don't want them to continue their predatory business practices, using flavors and cool marketing and imagery to draw children and young people into the use of tobacco products that are not only cause habits to be formed, but are in fact addictive.
The measure has also been cross-filed with a Senate bill, which is set to have a hearing next week. And 2 Anne Arundel detectives were shot last night. Coming up, we'll have details on the incident and the day-long manhunt for the suspect. The manhunt is over. Authorities have arrested a suspect for shooting 2 Anne Arundel County officers overnight. The incident began in Glen Burnie around 5 p.m. in the 600 block of Newfield Road. Police were called there for a homicide. A few hours later, the suspect was tracked in the victim's stolen car at the Anne Arundel County-Baltimore City line. As they tried to apprehend the suspect, detectives Scott Ballard and Ian Priest were shot and wounded. Again, the suspect, not yet identified, is now in police custody. Well, 3 victims of locker room sexual assaults at Damascus High School have filed a lawsuit against Montgomery County Public Schools, 2 former school administrators, and 2 former members of the school's football coaching staff. The lawsuit alleges that the school board and employees at Damascus High knew about the long-standing tradition of sexual assault in the football program.
Suits allege that the coaches, teachers, and administrators knew about the Damascus High School tradition called brooming, wherein sophomore football players terrorized freshman football players by threatening to, and at times, sodomizing the younger players with a broom.
This is one of the most extraordinary incidents to ever happen in a public school. not only in this state, but nationally. What happened was exceptionally dangerous. It was exceptionally traumatic, and it will affect the lives of these students for the rest of their lives.
In October of 2018, 3 junior varsity football players were sexually assaulted in the team locker room. Those assaults were described as a hazing initiation. Multiple players were charged with first-degree rape, but the charges were later dropped. Maryland State Police are investigating a fatal car crash involving a pedestrian last night. Troopers were called to eastbound Route 198 at Bower Lane in Laurel. That was about 11:30. That's where a Silver Spring woman was struck and killed. The driver remained on the scene. The incident remains under investigation. Well, State Senator Susan Lee has introduced a bill that would require the Maryland Department of Information Technology to come up with a cybersecurity plan for state agencies and departments. The main point of the legislation, says Lee, is for the state to draw up guidance and advice for entities across Maryland to be able to prepare and brace themselves for potential attacks.
We want to be able to be more proactive, to give them the advice necessary to be more proactive in case there is a cyber attack or to prevent a cyber attack, because as you know, some of these attacks can paralyze a city, a government, schools, infrastructure. So we think it's important that the counties and localities be prepared.
And you may recall that cyber thieves hacked into Baltimore City's computers last year, knocking out parts of that system for weeks. Well, don't go away. There's much more news on the other side of the break. Plus, Chris Marks will join us with the Thursday Sports Page Report. We'll be right back.
For students here at CMIT South High School, every penny counts. I'm Katera Jones. I will tell you why coming up on CTV News.
Well, where can you find great food, great drinks, and an amazing location? Down at the National Harbor. I'll have details coming up for you next on CTV News.
Police arrest an Anne Arundel High School teacher for allegedly having multiple sexual encounters with a student. 37-year-old Meredith Martin has been charged with sex abuse of a minor, 2 counts of perverted practice, and 4th-degree sex offense. The alleged acts took place in Davidsonville and Edgewater. Martin has been with the school system since 2007. She taught special education and science at Chesapeake and South River High Schools. Here's an alarming statistic. There's a new cancer diagnosis every 30 seconds in the U.S., this according to the National Cancer Institute. To increase awareness about the disease, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is partnering with schools across the nation. CTV's Katera Jones is at a school in Upper Marlboro with more.
Students and faculty here have been busy raising money for cancer research. Now, this is all a part of the Pennies for Patients program, and their goal is to raise $2,020. So far, the school has raised more than $1,400, but they need your help in reaching their ultimate goal.
We started like December. December was supposed to be our month.
It started off with a vote from CMIT's National Honor Society to raise money for cancer research. From there, the group decided to raise $2,020.
To my surprise, we were probably at something like a 28%, and now we're up to 72%. So, which our total is, I think it's $1,450.
The donations will go directly to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Pennies for Patients program. The student advisor called on her students to spread the word.
They put the link on social media. We put the link, gave it to their parents, had it at work. But most of the students did the things. They did everything. I think I did the first donation of $50 just to get it started. And then once I did it, then other parents start chiming in. They were leaving messages, even saying, this donation is for this student. So they did a job well done.
As for next year, the sky's the limit.
I just hope they will pass the word so that others next year will donate even more, and we just have a bigger base. And then next year we will meet our goal of 100%.
To help this school reach their goal, go to penniesforpatients.org, search in CMIT South High School, and donate to this school. Reporting in Upper Marlboro, Katera Jones, CTV News.
And CMIT South High School is one of 46 county schools participating in the fundraiser. Again, for more information, visit penniesforpatients.org. Well, you don't let your wallet stop you from dining out this weekend. Gina Barti is at one of the hottest locations in the DMV, and she tells us they're serving up some delicious food at amazing prices.
Well, Patty, if you love eating great food at a great price, you're going to want to come on down to the National Harbor for the 7th annual Restaurant Week. And joining me now is Deborah Topic from the National Harbor. She is actually the marketing director for the National Harbor. Thank you so much for having us at Bond 45. Tell us, what can patrons expect during Restaurant Week down at the National Harbor?
Yeah, this is our 7th year doing Restaurant Week at National Harbor. This year we have 18 restaurants participating, from MGM National Harbor to Gaylord to here, right here in the Waterfront District at Bond 45. So lots of choices, some lunch, some dinner, something for everyone. And this is really an elevated restaurant week. So there's a lot of restaurant weeks in the DMV, as everyone knows. Not everyone has the entertainment that we have and we're so well known for. So Bobby McGee's has free admission with your Restaurant Week receipt, $10 ticket on the Capitol Wheel. We have $10 off on Topgolf. And then also, of course, lots of play at MGM. So there's something for everyone. And then don't forget to stay. Make it a great weekend, a long weekend.
Yeah, we were just talking about you can actually make it a great staycation. So what is the difference? What can patrons expect compared to coming down at any other time? What is the difference with Restaurant Week?
Definitely. For lunch, it's a $20 meal. So those are 2 or 3 courses depending on the restaurant. And then dinner, a 3-course meal for $38. So gives you a chance to experience things you might not always try. And so it's just a great, good value for a lot of food.
Terrific. Thank you so much. And so we cannot be at Bond 45 without talking to the executive head chef, Chef Abdul. Thank you so much for joining us. You have just laid out just a magnificent spread for us. Now, these are some of the dishes actually that are going to be on the menu during the restaurant week.
Absolutely. This is some of the so many best items we have on the menu.
Talk about what patrons can kind of taste here during the week.
Well, right now we offer them starting as appetizer. We got a grilled Caesar salad, soup options, shrimps and grits, then pasta dishes, couple of great pasta dishes, entrees and desserts.
I'm always curious during Restaurant Week, how do you come up with the menu? Because it is a set menu at a great price. I took a look at it.
Well, that's a very good question, and it's also difficult for me to choose because we got so many great items on the menu. I have great people who assist me come up with all those great ideas. We try to offer them, like you say, quality food for a little less price. So we have some of the great homemade actually dishes we have it here, like a sausage rigatoni, nice salmon, and you can see everything here is homemade.
So a wide variety of foods for a very eclectic palate if you're coming here to Bond 45.
Yes, actually we're trying to make all the guests we receive here happy. So that's the reason we give a variety of food and tasting so everybody can come here and work out very happy.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Well, Patty, there are still a couple of days left on Restaurant Week, so you don't want to miss it. Come on down to the National Harbor. I think we have maybe 3 more days left, so come on down. Over 15 restaurants participating. Back to you in the studio.
And for more information, you can go to nationalharbor.com, select Restaurant Week to see all the businesses that are participating. Restaurant Week ends this Saturday when doors close.